Okay, so when you get there, you'll have to start setting up the rooms for the people taking part in the competition. I've been there and looked at the rooms, and the equipment they've got is not as good as ours, but it'll be okay. There's a big storeroom with all the equipment in it. You should be able to get the key from reception. They'll be there waiting for us. There are 3 rooms where the competitions are taking place. Remember that 2 of the rooms have different competitions in the morning and afternoon. So first of all, let me give you the schedule for the morning. The Dean Room is for the badminton competition. There are 2 courts in there, so you'll have to set up both of them. Then, the Carsley Room is where the gymnastics will be, and there's quite a lot of equipment to bring in for that. We have to get the Forster Room ready for the weightlifting, which is taking place in there all day. So once you set up the room for the weightlifting, you won't have to change anything. But there's a lot of equipment to put in there. Now, in the afternoon, the table tennis is taking place in the Dean Room, so you'll need to... Oh, wait a minute. We had to change that because there are no basketball nets in the Carsley Room, so actually the basketball will be in the Dean Room, but as the nets are already there, you won't need to set anything up for that. That means the table tennis will be taking place in the Carsley Room in the afternoon, so you'll have to make sure all the equipment is in there, as there will be a lot to do to change the room around. Now, about the equipment. For the badminton in the Dean Room, there are 2 nets in the storeroom to set up, and you know what to do, so it shouldn't take you long. The players will bring their own rackets with them, but there are some spare ones, so take them into the badminton room as well, just in case. There are also a couple of boxes of shuttlecocks, if we need them. For the basketball in the afternoon, you only need to bring in the balls because the nets are always up and ready, so you can do that between the sports events. In the Carsley Room, you'll have to get the gymnastics equipment in place in the morning. That means bringing in the vaulting horse and putting it in the middle. Put one mat in front and another behind the horse, and have some other mats ready for the floor exercises. Then on the side, set up the bars for the gymnastics. There are 2 sets of bars, one for the men and one for the women. The other equipment, such as the rings and pommel horse, are already in there, so you don't need to worry about those. It's also a good idea to bring in the tables and nets for the table tennis at the same time. There's enough room to leave them folded while the gymnastics is going on, but you'll be able to set them up more quickly later. The players should bring their own bats with them, but there's a box of bats there, so bring those in as well, as we might need them. For the weightlifting, get someone to help you bring in the barbells and the other weights so that you don't try to carry too much. The bench for the bench press should be in there already, so check that it is when you arrive. But you'll need to bring in the stand with the chalk for the lifters to put on their hands. I'll be there at about 10 o'clock, as I have an appointment first thing, so you should be ready by then. We can check everything together and then get ready to welcome the contestants and the spectators. I hope everything goes well, and I'm sure we can do it. Call me if you need any extra information. Hi guys, it's me again, Jeff. Can you let me know when you've received this message? I've just realised that I probably won't be able to be there at the start of the competition because I have an appointment that I can't cancel. So I'm going to tell you what event I want each of you to organise during the day, just so that you know. I've tried to work it out so that each of you can be in charge of the event you prefer, as far as possible. So, first of all, the morning. Now, Steve and Amanda, I know that you both like badminton, and Amanda, you used to do gymnastics, so I know you'd be happy with either, but I have to make sure of the best arrangement on the day. Amanda, if I remember rightly, you also once did some training in the rules of badminton, so it might be best if you take that on, rather than the gymnastics. It will be useful to have you there to help with judging line calls and so on. That means either you, Steve, or you, Malik, with the gymnastics. Either of you is capable of doing that, but that leaves the weightlifting. Both of you do a lot of the general training in our sports centre, but this is a bit more specialist in terms of getting the weights right for each competitor. Okay, for the moment, I'll put Steve in charge of the gymnastics, and Malik can take care of the weightlifting in the morning, as I think you have just that bit more experience of dealing with weights, Malik. For the afternoon, I know Amanda and Malik would both love to do the basketball, as you both play it. But Malik, you're already doing the weightlifting, so perhaps Amanda, you can do the basketball. Actually, no. I've just thought. I'm pretty certain I'll be in for the afternoon. So Malik, you won't need to do the weightlifting then. How about you do the basketball, Malik? Then I can take over the weightlifting in the afternoon, as I'm particularly keen on that, as you all know, and I'd like a chance to get involved with it. So then, Amanda, you can do the table tennis, but that leaves Steve without anything. No, that's okay actually, if we leave it at that. Steve, you can be available to help wherever you're needed in the afternoon. And if something happens and I can't make it in the early afternoon, you can take care of the weightlifting till I arrive. Though I don't think there'll be any problems. Okay, if you need to check on anything, call me on my mobile. Otherwise, see you next week. I think we're going to have a great day.